MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred has thrown his full support behind torpedo bats, calling them absolutely good for baseball. In a statement reported by the New York Times on Sunday, Manfred defended the innovative bat design after the New York Yankees stunned fans by unleashing what seemed like a home run explosion during their opening series against the Milwaukee Brewers. Manfred explained that torpedo bats, which have quickly become a hot topic after drawing widespread attention for their ability to reposition the bat's sweet spot, are fully compliant with the rule book. Torpedo bats are absolutely good for baseball. I believe that issues like the torpedo bat and the debate around it demonstrate the fact that baseball still occupies a unique place in our culture, because people get into a complete frenzy over something that's really nothing at the end of the day, Manfred said. He added that players have been experimenting with the placement of their bat's sweet spot for years, and that the ongoing discussion reveals that there's more to the game than just television ratings or revenue. Manfred's remarks come on the heels of other modernizing steps he has overseen during his tenure, such as the introduction of a pitch clock and a ghost runner in extra innings, with further innovations like automated strike zone technology possibly on the horizon. While some fans express concerns that torpedo bats might be overhyped, Manfred believes that the varying results seen across the league, from both early adopters and hesitant users alike, demonstrate that the impact of a bat ultimately depends on the player wielding it. For instance, while the Yankees boast one of the league's most potent offenses, even as pitchers like Zach Gallen and Andrew Heaney have dampened torpedo bats' effects early on, other players like Anthony Volpe appear to be making the most of the new design, suggesting that the ultimate value of torpedo bats will likely depend on individual adjustment and usage. By endorsing torpedo bats, Manfred is reinforcing his longtime willingness to experiment and push the boundaries of how baseball is played. In doing so, he also reaffirms that innovation, as long as it adheres to the rules, can energize the game and add to its enduring allure.
What's going on, baseball fans? The latest buzz in the world of MLB isn't just about home runs and strikeouts, it's about the bats. Specifically, torpedo bats. These uniquely designed bats have been a hot topic of conversation, especially after the New York Yankees came out swinging in their opening series. And now, Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred has officially weighed in on the matter. And his stance might surprise you. The video you sent over confirms that, despite some initial frenzy and debate surrounding these new torpedo bats, they're indeed here to stay in Major League Baseball, following the Yankees' explosive offensive start to the season against the Milwaukee Brewers. MLB quickly clarified that the bats were compliant with the existing rules. But one voice that hadn't yet been heard on the topic was that of Commissioner Rob Manfred himself. That changed this past Sunday, as Rob Manfred threw his full support behind the use of torpedo bats. According to the New York Times, Manfred went as far as to call them absolutely good for baseball. This is a pretty strong endorsement from the commissioner and likely puts any lingering doubts about their legality or future in the league to rest. Manfred elaborated on his reasoning, stating, "Torpedo bats are absolutely good for baseball. I believe that issues like the torpedo bat and the debate around it demonstrate the fact that baseball still occupies a unique place in our culture. Because people get into a complete frenzy over something that's really nothing at the end of the day. The bats comply with the rules. Players have actually been moving the sweet spot around in bats for years. But it just demonstrates that something about the game is more important than is captured by television ratings or revenue or any of those things." When you have the discussions and debates about it, this strong support from Commissioner Manfred shouldn't come as a complete shock. The league had already confirmed the legality of the bats, signaling their acceptance of this latest advancement in bat technology. It also aligns with Manfred's track record as commissioner, as he has shown a willingness to experiment with and evolve the game throughout his tenure. We've already seen the introduction of the pitch clock, the ghost runner in extra innings, and the potential for automated strike zone technology on the horizon, all under Manfred's leadership. While some traditionalist fans might take issue with Manfred suggesting that people overreacted to the new bats, he might actually have a point. The initial hype surrounding torpedo bats seemed to suggest they were a guaranteed offensive explosion. However, the early results across the league have been somewhat mixed. The Yankees, who were among the first teams to widely adopt torpedo bats, still boast one of the best defenses in baseball, but they've also been effectively shut down by good pitching in subsequent games. We saw how Zach Gallen and Andrew Heaney managed to make those torpedo bats look rather ordinary. This isn't to diminish the Yankees' offensive prowess, which is undeniable, but it does suggest that these bats aren't a magic bullet for instant offense. We've seen similar trends elsewhere in the league. For example, Max Muncy of the Dodgers reportedly even ditched his torpedo bat in favor of a more traditional model to pick up a clutch hit. Francisco Lindor of the Mets and Ryan Jeffers of the Twins, both early adopters of torpedo bats, haven't exactly set the world on fire with their offensive production so far this season. Even some of the early Yankees standouts who were initially credited with the torpedo bat effect, like Cody Bellinger and Austin Wells, have seen their batting averages come back down to earth since that opening series. As Commissioner Manfred astutely pointed out, players have been experimenting with the design and construction of their bats for years, long before the advent of these more extreme torpedo designs. Multiple players have admitted to using various custom bats over the past few seasons. Although perhaps none were as visually distinct as the torpedo bats, players like Brendan Donovan of the St. Louis Cardinals and Lane Thomas of the Cleveland Guardians were among those who had adopted custom bat designs before torpedo bats became the latest trend. Ultimately, the question of whether torpedo bats truly provide a significant advantage might simply come down to the individual player and their swing mechanics. Anthony Volpe of the Yankees, for instance, appears to be in the midst of a potential breakout season while using a torpedo bat. But is that success directly attributable to the barrel being moved closer to his ideal sweet spot? Or is it simply a case of a former top prospect finally finding his groove and realizing his potential in the major leagues? It's a question that will likely take time and more data to definitively answer. In the meantime, Commissioner Manfred, who is certainly no stranger to experimenting with the game's rules and technology, seems perfectly willing to let this latest bat fad play out and see where it ultimately takes the game. Whether torpedo bats become a staple in dugouts across the league or eventually fade away remains to be seen. But for now, they have the official backing of the commissioner himself. What are your thoughts on Rob Manfred's comments? Do you think torpedo bats are good for baseball? Or are they just a passing trend? Have you noticed any significant impact from these bats in the early part of the season? Let us know your opinions in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more MLB news and discussions, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future content. We'll see you in the next one.